Well, hello. Welcome to Integrated Preparedness and American Reversion. I'm Steve Smith, because I'm going to put this on. I forgot to bring my mic up with me, so I'll just try to stay in close here and talk a little loud. If you hear people behind you, just don't worry about it. It's the sound of Americans celebrating their heritage and having a good time on the weekend leading up to Independence Day. Well, most of you don't need any hint as to where I am. If you do, ask your neighbor. But we're taking a little trip. Actually, I'm up here researching for my next book. Most of you are familiar with the American Redoubt. It's an idea, it's a concept. Well, it was conceptualized and then popularized by James Wesley Rawls. He's a famous figure, kind of a godfather of not going clear back to the 70s, but he came out with his books maybe 15 years ago, I forget what. And he was the one that was talking about relocation. I believe it's also mentioned in Joel Skousen's book, a great book that I'm going to be talking more about in the future. Strategic Relocation, I believe, is Skousen's book. It's a great book. It really covers everything about the relative safety of different areas in the world, and of course, in the United States, where most of us are most interested. But Rawls conceptualized this idea of the American Redoubt, and it was an area of the country that he segmented out, calling it through his research kind of the safest area in the country for people of common interests to kind of fall back to get out in case of a grid down, a collapse of the economy, a collapse of government, whatever. It was a place of people of like-minded, and he included in these traditional Christians, Messianic Jews, others, essentially people who operated on a set of religious morals, a foundation of religious morals. And what he carved out, what he felt was probably the safest area, were the states of Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, and then the eastern parts of Washington and Oregon. The western parts of Washington and Oregon, we understand why isn't included in that, don't we? So I'm up here driving through this, doing research for my next book. It's a great area. It's a wonderful area. If you haven't been up there to this part of the United States, and not just Rushmore that's behind it, today we went through the Badlands. It's just beautiful. We're driving through the Black Hills now. We're going to head up to Deadwood. We were out at Wall earlier today, and we're going to head up to Sturgis and Deadwood and Spearfish and all that here later. Spend a little time here tomorrow, looking around, doing some research on it. But this is a beautiful area. And it's interesting, a lot of us talk about the Ozarks as being a kind of a central location. It's an area that many people feel called to for our particular interest. And I am closer to the Ozarks than I am here. I might slip in something here that some of you have suspected that my secondary location is in the Ozarks. I'm not going to say right now, but I'm getting close to making a decision as to whether or not to go there and do some filming, maybe in the fall. I don't know. We'll see. The different areas of the country, of course, every area in the country has its own pluses and its own minuses, to be honest. And no matter where you are, even if you're in New York State, I'm sure there's areas in upper New York State that would be great if everything fell apart. I pretty much hold to the idea that west of the Mississippi is best, simply because of population density. And so that's pretty much where I keep my attention on. Up in this area that people refer to as the American Redoubt, it's much different than the Ozarks. But as I'm driving through here, and it's been some time since I've been up here, that's why I wanted to get up here and take another first-hand look at it before I start writing about it. Um, you know how they say that after a cataclysmic, whether it's a EMP, CME, whatever it is, that there would be up to a 90% die-off in the affected areas? And of course, in some areas it would be more and some it would be less. I would venture to guess, and my guess is as good as anybody's who's looked into this, that the area that we've been driving through, western South Dakota, which is just beautiful, and our compliments, we love being in the state of Christie Nome. That up in this area, I would imagine that the die-off would be maybe 5%. It's a great area for being able to be self-reliant. It is a sustainable area. Now, the growing season isn't as long as it is in the South or even the Midwest, but people have lived here for thousands and thousands of years, and they've known how to deal with that. When we look at our life today, or the life after whatever happens, when we're planning for our future, like we say, prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. Our living well tomorrow includes a quality of life, and the concept of integrative preparedness, as I've said before, but for any newer people here, is that everything that you do should not just prepare for surviving in the future, but it should be have a dual purpose of increasing the quality of your life today. And I'm not going to get into a lot of details on that on this one because I want to get back to taking a look around, and that's a whole video in itself. And I will be covering that in the future because I've kind of decided to. I'm not going to get away from some of the things that I've been talking about in the past, but I'm going to add a different dimension to it. So when we look at quality of life, I'll tell you, up in this part of the country, the quality of life is exceptional. Now, you're going to have people that don't live an exceptional life like everywhere, right? But as far as resources, as far as the type of people who are here, so many things, and I'll cover this in more detail on others. I can't think of a better place probably than what people refer to as the Redoubt. That doesn't mean that although I did look, I have family up there, so, and friends. I have some very good friends up here. So it is something that I'll look at, and I did check property values, prices of real estate, and it never hurts to have more than one place, And if you really want to get forward thinking on this, you should say, well, what if I need to go that direction and that direction and that direction and that direction? What do I do? Most of us don't have the money to buy places all over the place, but it's good to have an idea. And if you have contacts there, that can be very helpful. So anyway, I just wanted to share this with you. Like I said, we'll be driving through the Black Hills, which is, well, we're in it now. It's just beautiful. We'll be going up through Deadwood and Spearfish and Sturgis. And then we're going to head west through Wyoming. We'll probably get into Montana a little bit, but we're going to go through the Tetons and Yellowstone, and then up around through the eastern part of Washington and Oregon. And I'll probably make a few more videos about that just to kind of let you all take a look at it in case I think of other things that I want to say. I'll say one thing here. It was funny. I forget. I don't know whether it was on my last video or not on integrative preparedness, but I occasionally get these people that come on and admonish me for doing something that they think is just a horrible violation of OpSec. And I can tell by your their comments. I won't address this to them in particular. I can tell by their comments they have no concept of what OpSec truly is. I'm going to do another one on OpSec one of these days because some of us have lived OpSec. We didn't read about it or watch people talk about it on videos. But to anybody who says you shouldn't tell people, you shouldn't post these things until you're back home, and you don't know whether I have or not, right? You don't know where I am right today. But if I did, if I posted this, OpSec lesson coming up, if I posted this when I am away from home, it doesn't matter. Because if you, for whatever whacked out reason, if a person wanted to come to my house for some weird reason, if my dog didn't eat them, the people who are staying there while I'm gone would either call the police or shoot them. OpSec, right? Listen, I'm having a great time. I hope you guys are having a great time getting ready for the 4th. And I'll make a couple more. Let you see what we're doing and some other thoughts on the American Redoubt, secondary locations. You might pick up that book, by the way, if you want to. That's one by Joel Skousen, Strategic Relocation. It's a great book. If you're thinking about relocating somewhere, I would say that reading that book would be a great first step. So I'm going to get out of here. You all have a great day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And that America needs a reversion. But you know what? When you're up here, you don't think America needs a reversion. You think that America is pretty great. And I don't mean just looking at that hill behind me. I mean looking around at the people that are around here. This will restore your faith in America, not the government. Because I just saw that. I just saw you in the back of the class go back there. You have faith in the. Relax, Jack. Sit back down. Okay. It lets you know how many good people there are in our country. You all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.